Hi guys, got a nice plastic container here that did have screen wash in it for the car. I'm going to cut it up for a rubber band powered car. I need to mark it up first. It's got some nice lines on it that we could probably use for guidance. We don't need the whole container. In fact, I could probably make 2 cars out of this quite easily. I think I'll cut it along there. Let's have a look. So I'll cut that with a sharp knife. So there is a nice line going down there that we can use for lining up the back axle. Front one, if we do this. Should line it up. Yeah. Looks like you see that. Right, I'll cut that out with a sharp knife. Right, that's going to be our car. Okay, could also be a boat just as easily, couldn't it? Boat or car? And that could just as easily be boat or car, couldn't it? I might save that to exactly the opposite to what I intended to do, because I'm just looking at that. That's just about right for a little boat, even a pot boat. I'll put that to one side. We'll make the car out of this bit. So same process. So that's where I'll put the holes through. I'll use my hot nail on a stick. If you haven't seen my videos before, I do rather like this nail on a stick idea. I drilled a hole through the bit of wood, pushed the nail through. The reason I drilled the hole was if you just bang a nail through, it'll probably split the wood. So we've got a nail through there, and then I can heat it up without my hands getting anywhere near the nail and burning myself. It doesn't need to be red hot or anything. And it will make some fumes, so you need to do this in a ventilated area. Need a hole in there somewhere to attach the rubber band. And that's it. Next thing we need is some wheels. So I'm going to use these CDs that have got plastic bottle caps taped to them with a hole through the middle to hold a bamboo cane or barbecue skewer. I've got some that I've done already, but I'll demonstrate. Here's one that I've used for other purposes. I've just peeled the hot glue off it because we don't need hot glue. Bottle cap. This is called a bradawl. It's just a pointy instrument. You could use a nail or anything else that's sharp. You could even use the end of your bamboo cane. If it's got a sharp point on it and it's reasonably strong, it'll probably push through there. Now some of these caps have got a nice marking on the inside, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, that shows you exactly where the middle is. So that's the ideal one to use, but don't just push it into your finger. Best to have something to push down onto. And the hole you make, you don't want to make it too big. You want it to be a tight fit on your cane. Probably not that tight, that's a bit too tight, so I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger. But you need it to grip, so that when you wind up the rubber band, the wheels don't spin on the axle. They've got to be gripped by the axle. There's a good example. That's got a great big hole on it. So that's no use whatsoever. That one grips onto the axle. So that, which ones I'm going to use? Well, it doesn't make any difference which one I use, but we'll use that one. Need to get that in the middle, and you need some tape. Doesn't have to be this great big thick tape that I've got here, but this does work rather well if you don't twist it up first. One thing you will find is that it does move a little bit, but that can be handy for aligning it so that the wheel actually goes straight. See, that one's pretty straight. but I can misalign it. And because I can move it about with that little bit of flexibility in the tape, I can get it back again. It's pretty straight anyway. There we go. So I've got 2 done already. I'll do that one, then we'll have 4 wheels. To stop the wheels rubbing against the side of the car, I've got some nice plastic beads that'll keep the wheels away. That hole's a bit small. I'm going to have to work on that. I must have closed up a bit again after I'd melted it through. That one's alright. That one's fine. That one's fine. So I just have to make sure that one's opened up a bit. I can see what it is. There's a little lump of the melted plastic sticking up. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Plastic beads, they'll keep the bodywork away, or you can cut up some drinking straw to do the same thing. I'm going to use these plastic beads. I found them in Poundland in the toys section. Plastic beads, a little bit of space just to make sure we're not squeezing the bodywork, so they run nice and freely. So now we need to put a rubber band from here to here. At this end we need to fix it in place. At this end we want it to come off so that when it's finished the run it drops off the back axle and the back axle can freewheel and the car can keep going, because if it's tied on there when it gets to the end it stops the axle turning and the car stops. Joining rubber bands together. Push it through so you've got a loop. Push the other end through the loop and you've joined your rubber bands together. Now I'm going to push it through that little hole there, and I could put a little bit of bamboo cane through that loop on the back there, like my finger, and that'll hold it in place. Or, because we happen to have it here, I can put that around there and then feed that. Oh, that's a broken rubber band on the end of it. There. Feed that through the hole. And that'll hold it in place for me. And then round the back axle, you could cut the end off your bamboo cane and glue it on there in a T shape, so you can hook your rubber band onto the T shape. Or what I do is I just wrap it around so it goes over itself, and that holds it in place. And it's important that it comes off, like I've just explained, so that the back wheels can keep freewheeling, and that'll give you a lot more distance. So round the back axle, wind it up. Car's quite light, so you might have to add some weight to stop the wheels spinning. That works. Summary time. What have we got? Rubber band powered car made from a plastic container. This one had screen wash for the car in it. So it's nice solid plastic, a little bit thicker than the milk bottles that I often use. And I also decided to use the top half of it for a boat, which will be in a separate video at some time. So, plastic container, CDs for wheels, plastic bottle caps for the hubs, held in place with tape, just ordinary clear sticky tape. 8 of those, 2 for each wheel. Then bamboo canes or barbecue skewers for the axles, rubber band for the power, and I used my nail on a stick to melt some holes through for the axle holes. Oh, and I've used some plastic beads to keep the wheels away from the bodywork to reduce the friction. Job done.